Hey there, my amazing English learners. It's Jennifer, and I am just so incredibly happy you're joining me today here on English in Advanced. Seriously, it truly brightens my day to connect with all of you. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about our English learning journeys, and honestly, one very common feeling I hear about, and one I've definitely felt myself, is that moment when you just hit a wall. You're putting in so much work. You're diligently studying your grammar books, trying to learn new words, watching movies, listening to podcasts. You're really doing all the right things. But then it feels like that big breakthrough to truly natural, fluent English is just out of reach. You might even start to wonder, am I doing something wrong here? Why isn't my English becoming as effortless as I want it to be? And believe me, that feeling of frustration or even a bit of discouragement can be really tough. Well, what if I told you that sometimes the biggest things quietly holding us back aren't about what we aren't doing, but actually about some sneaky, almost invisible habits we've picked up along the way? Habits that on the surface might seem perfectly fine or even helpful, but are actually secretly putting the brakes on your fluency without you even realizing it. These are things so many of us do every single day, especially in those casual, everyday English moments. And they can genuinely keep you from reaching that confident, natural English you're dreaming about. That's precisely what we're going to dive into today. In this really important lesson, we're going to explore 9 common bad habits that can unintentionally get in the way of your English fluency. We'll not only call out what these habits are, but we'll also gently unpack why each one might be quietly slowing your progress. And most importantly, I'm going to give you clear, actionable tips and super practical exercises on how you can lovingly tweak these habits, helping you to finally unlock that next incredible level of English. So, if you've ever felt stuck, or a bit frustrated, or just totally ready to make a significant leap in your English, please stick with me for this entire video. I promise by the end, you'll have a much clearer picture of these common pitfalls and a powerful, personalized roadmap to sounding more natural, more fluent, and truly more confident in English than ever before. All right, let's just jump right into these habits. And remember, there's absolutely no judgment here, okay? This is just an honest, supportive look at some common things we all do. As I go through each one, just quietly ask yourself, does that sound a little like me? Because recognizing a habit, truly seeing it, that's the most powerful first step to making a wonderful change. The 9 bad habits that can get in the way of your English fluency habit. Number 1, sticking to simple, repeated phrases. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation wanting to say something, but your brain just keeps defaulting to the same basic, almost robotic phrases? Like if you're talking about your weekend, you might automatically say, I go to market, I buy food. That probably sounds pretty familiar, right? Why is this powerful? Well, while that's perfectly understandable for a beginner, if you've been learning English for a while, this habit can seriously limit your growth. It stops you from exploring all the rich new vocabulary, trying out more complex sentence structures, and truly expanding how you express yourself. This tendency to stick to what feels safe actually makes your English sound a bit limited, less natural, and can even feel a little robotic over time. You simply stop challenging yourself to share your thoughts with more detail and variety. How to do it? You've got to gently push yourself beyond these basic ways of speaking. For instance, instead of, I go to market, I buy food, Challenge yourself to say something more detailed and natural, like, on Saturday, I went to the market and bought some fresh vegetables for dinner. Can you hear the difference in how much more natural and descriptive that sounds? Actively practice expanding your sentences beyond the absolute basics. When you catch yourself repeating a simple phrase, just pause for a second and think, how else could I say this? What new words or structures can I add to make this sound richer or more natural? This little conscious effort is really, really key. Habit number 2, being afraid to make mistakes. Oh, this one. This is probably one of the most common and truly paralyzing habits I see. I completely understand it. It can feel incredibly scary to say the wrong thing, to mispronounce a word, or to feel embarrassed in front of others, especially when you're speaking with native speakers or people who sound really advanced. Why is this powerful? But let me share something so fundamentally important. Every fluent English speaker you've ever heard, even native speakers, makes mistakes. The real difference between someone who's fluent and someone who's still struggling is that fluent speakers simply don't let the fear of error stop them. When you constantly avoid speaking or only speak when you're 100% sure you're grammatically perfect, you literally miss out on the most vital part of language learning: hands on practice and real time correction. Just think about it. If a little child waited until they knew every single grammar rule perfectly before speaking, they would honestly never utter a single word. Children learn because they try, they get corrected, and then, crucially, they try again. You absolutely need to give yourself that same invaluable permission to learn through trying. How to do it? Let's do a little practice right now to gently push past this fear. Imagine you want to describe your last vacation, but you're not entirely sure if your grammar is spot on. Take a deep breath and just try saying this out loud. Last summer, I go to beach. I swim every day. Now let's gently fix it together. Last summer, I went to the beach. I swam every day. Even if you said it wrong the first time, the truly important thing is that you tried. That act of trying, even with errors, is precisely what helps you learn, self correct, and become so much more confident in your spoken English. Please don't let perfection be the enemy of your wonderful progress. Habit number 3, overusing filler words. You know, like and These are incredibly common in casual speech, even among native speakers. We all use them from time to time, don't worry. Why is this powerful? But here's the thing. When these filler words become a constant part of your speech, they can unfortunately make you sound a little unsure, a bit hesitant, or less fluent than you actually are. They can genuinely disrupt the natural flow of your sentences and make it harder for your listener to follow your brilliant ideas clearly. It's often a sign that your brain is still translating or maybe searching for just the right words, rather than thinking directly in English. How to do it? A really effective way to practice reducing fillers is to consciously speak a tiny bit slower and allow yourself to simply pause when you need a moment to think. Don't be afraid of silence. Silence, believe it or not, actually shows control and gives your brain valuable time to process and formulate your thoughts in English. Try this exercise. Describe your daily routine without using like, or you know. Instead of rushing, intentionally speak slowly, clearly, and with confidence. For example, I wake up at 7 a.m., I take a shower. Then I eat breakfast. Practice this every day for just 5 minutes. This focused effort truly helps build not only your fluency, but also remarkable clarity in your speech. Habit number 4, not listening enough or actively listening. Many English learners understandably put a lot of their focus and energy into speaking practice and grammar rules. While these are absolutely vital, they often neglect an equally critical skill: dedicated, active listening to real English. Why is this powerful? Listening is truly the foundation of comprehension and natural language acquisition. It helps you intrinsically understand how the language works in authentic, everyday settings, how people naturally link words, how they use common idioms, how they express emotions through their tone, and how they vary their intonation. If you only listen to textbook recordings or highly structured classroom audio, you're genuinely missing out on the rich, spontaneous, and diverse ways English is truly spoken in the real world. Your ears absolutely need to be trained to process real speed, natural conversations. How to do it? Make active listening a non negotiable fun part of your daily routine. Start listening to authentic English podcasts that you enjoy, engaging YouTube videos, interviews, and movies. Please don't worry if you don't understand every single word initially. Just try to grasp the general meaning and pay close attention to how the words are used in context, their rhythm, and their intonation. Here's a powerful listening exercise. Watch a short video in English with subtitles first, then watch it again without subtitles. Try to repeat what you heard, really mimicking the sounds. This trains your ear to pick up nuances and actively helps you remember useful expressions for your own speaking. Habit number 5: ignoring phrasal verbs and idioms. Speaking of useful expressions, here's another common habit that can severely limit how natural you sound. Phrasal verbs like give up, look after, or pick up are literally everywhere in spoken and written English. And idioms like raining cats and dogs are also incredibly common. Why is this powerful? If you don't understand these multi-word expressions, you'll simply miss a massive amount of meaning in everyday conversations and content. Many learners tend to focus only on individual words and unfortunately skip over these crucial linguistic units, which makes their own speech sound less natural, perhaps a bit more formal, and sometimes even a little awkward. For example, instead of saying, "I stopped smoking," a native speaker would far more commonly say, "I gave up smoking." It's more casual, more common, and much more natural in everyday English. How to do it? Make understanding and using phrasal verbs and idioms a real priority. When you encounter a new one, don't just memorize it by itself. Make a list of common phrasal verbs and idioms, and crucially, actively try to use them in your daily conversations or writing. Let's practice a few together right now. Repeat after me. I picked up my friend from the airport. She looks after her younger brother. They gave up eating junk food. Consistently integrating these phrases will dramatically make your English sound so much more fluent and natural. Habit number 6: relying too much on grammar rules. While speaking now, please don't misunderstand me. Grammar is undeniably important. It provides the essential structure and clarity for our language. However, if you're constantly thinking about every single grammar rule in your head while you're trying to speak, it can significantly slow you down and make your sentences sound hesitant and pretty unnatural. Why is this powerful? English at its core is about communication, not perfection. If you're constantly self-correcting every verb tense or preposition in your mind, you'll inevitably lose the natural flow and spontaneity of the conversation. This overthinking often leads to hesitation and a fragmented speaking style, which truly hinders genuine fluency. How to do it? The key here is balance. Learn grammar to understand how the language works and to refine your accuracy. But when you're actually speaking, shift your focus to simply expressing your ideas clearly and confidently. Here's a great exercise. Choose a simple topic, like my favorite food or my last weekend, and just talk about it out loud for 1 minute without stopping. Please don't worry if the grammar isn't perfect. Just focus on speaking and getting your ideas out. After you've spoken, you can listen to yourself if you record it, or simply reflect on what you said, and then gently try to correct any noticeable mistakes. For example, if you said, I like eat pizza, you can later correct it to, I like to eat pizza. This approach helps you learn from your mistakes without allowing them to stop you from speaking in the first place. Habit number 7, not reviewing what you've learned consistently. Many learners are incredibly diligent about studying new vocabulary, grammar points, or phrases. They study something once, tick it off their list, and then move on, thinking they've learned it forever. Why is this powerful? Unfortunately, our amazing memory just doesn't work that way. If you don't consistently review what you've learned, you will inevitably forget it. To truly make words and expressions part of your active vocabulary, meaning you can recall and use them naturally without thinking, you need to see and use them many, many times over an extended period. Without regular review, your learning efforts become less efficient and less effective, and you may find yourself relearning the same things repeatedly, which can be a bit disheartening. How to do it? Build a simple, consistent review system right into your routine. Keep a small notebook or a digital note where you jot down new words, phrases, and grammar points each day. Then set aside just 5 minutes daily to quickly review them. As part of your review, actively try using these words and phrases in new sentences. Let's do a quick review practice right now. I'll say a word, and you make a sentence with it. Ready? The word is improve. You might say, I want to improve my English. Next word, confident. You could say, I feel confident when I speak slowly. Practicing like this, even for a few minutes every day, significantly helps you remember and seamlessly integrate the words you've learned into your active English. Habit number 8, depending too much on subtitles. This is an incredibly common habit, especially for those of you who absolutely love watching English movies or TV shows. Many learners, understandably, always keep subtitles on, often in their native language. Why is this powerful? While watching with native language subtitles might initially help you understand the content better, in the long run, it unfortunately becomes a significant crutch. Your brain, being incredibly efficient, will naturally stop actively listening to the English audio and instead focus primarily on reading the translation. This completely bypasses the crucial process of training your ears to comprehend spoken English naturally. It genuinely prevents you from developing the vital skill of processing English words and sounds without that constant visual text support. How to do it? To fix this, gradually, kindly, reduce your reliance on subtitles. Start by switching to English subtitles first. This still provides a visual aid but forces your brain to connect English sounds with English words. Then, once you feel more confident with English subtitles, challenge yourself to remove them altogether. A very effective technique is to watch short scenes or clips multiple times, first with English subtitles, then without. You'll be amazed at how much more you catch the second time because you already have the context. Yes, this will likely feel difficult and even frustrating at first. You'll miss words, and that's totally okay. But your brain will begin to actively fill in those gaps instead of relying on the text, which is how true listening comprehension genuinely develops. Habit number 9, not thinking in English. This is perhaps one of the biggest yet often most overlooked blocks to achieving true English fluency. When you consistently translate your thoughts from your native language into English before speaking, your brain has to perform an extra processing step. This adds significant time, often causes hesitation, and can make your speech slow, unnatural, and definitely less spontaneous. Why is this powerful? To become truly fluent and natural, you absolutely have to train your brain to think directly in English. This means bypassing that translation step altogether. This inner monologue in your native language can be a very stubborn habit, but believe me, overcoming it is transformative for your fluency. How to do it? Start small and gently integrate thinking in English into your daily routine. When you wake up, consciously say to yourself, maybe in your head or softly out loud if you're comfortable, I'm getting out of bed now. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm going to make some breakfast. Describe what you're doing, plan your day, or just talk to yourself, all in English. These small, consistent thoughts in English help your brain get so much more used to processing information directly in the language. Let's do a mini practice right now. Imagine you're making tea. Mentally or softly say to yourself, I take a cup. I pour hot water. I add the tea bag. I wait 2 minutes. I drink it slowly. Practicing like this every day will slowly but surely change how your brain works with English. Over time, you'll notice you don't need to translate anymore. You'll just effortlessly speak. So there you have it, my dedicated English learners, 9 powerful habits that, if left unchecked, can quietly but significantly get in the way of your English fluency. But here's the truly amazing and empowering part. You absolutely have the power to change them. You don't have to tackle everything at once. That's often overwhelming and can lead to burnout. Well, instead, I genuinely encourage you to pick just one habit from this list that resonated most with you and commit to focusing on it this week. Make a small, achievable goal for yourself, like, I will speak out loud for 5 minutes every day, or I will write 3 sentences in English each night, or I will try to think in English during my morning commute. Remember, those small, consistent actions lead to truly monumental changes over time. Your fluency journey is unique, and every single step forward, no matter how tiny it feels, counts immensely. By the way, speaking of dramatically improving your English and sounding even more natural, if you happen to miss our last super beneficial episode where we covered 75 essential English phrases for daily conversation, I highly recommend checking that out right after this video. It's absolutely packed with practical phrases and real-world examples to help you sound even more natural and fluent in all your everyday chats. Now, I would absolutely love to hear from you. After watching this video, which of these 9 bad habits do you recognize most prominently in your own learning journey? And even more importantly, which one will you commit to tackling first to give your fluency a real, honest boost? Please share your thoughts, your struggles, and your commitments in the comments section below. I truly love reading your insights, celebrating your progress, and connecting with all of you wonderful learners. If you found this comprehensive video helpful and gained some valuable takeaways to really improve your English, please do me a huge favor and give it a thumbs up. Sharing this video with a friend who's also learning English would be fantastic. Let's help each other grow. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to English in Advanced and hit that notification bell so you never, ever miss any of our upcoming transformative lessons. We release new helpful English lessons every single week. Thank you so much for watching, my wonderful learners. Keep pushing forward, keep practicing with courage, and I'll see you in our next video. You've got this. Happy learning.